Hi friends, Cole Chance at YOGATX. And we're gonna get into the hips today. They get quite cranky. So I'll show you some go-to stretches that I use and hopefully they'll resonate with you as well. I want to let you know a couple things about the channel. I'm starting a newsletter, so please sign up and we can get to know each other a little better. I'll be sending out lots of goodies about once a month, and you can sign up for that on our website at yogatx.org. And we also have 1 hour flows on there, and we'll be coming out with some of those in the months to come as well. And also I'm preparing a 7-day challenge for January, so stay tuned for more about that too. But for right now, let's go ahead and open up those hips. So let's start in Baddha Konasana. So feet together, knees wide. And this diamond can be as big or as little as you want it to be. So let's just start grabbing the ankles, shining the chest forward. You can even close the eyes here. You can butterfly the legs. I used to do this in gymnastics when I was a little girl. It's still good, just as good. So take your right forearm and start to kind of press gently into the right leg. And do that on the other side. We're just encouraging a little bit of openness here. Or we're letting it know like, hey, we're gonna work on you. Get ready. Work with me. Right. Maybe bring them in a little bit closer. And one more time, open. Nice. Let's come in to downward dog. Start to press away here. Bringing the right leg up, we're gonna come into lizard pose. So we're gonna drop, we're gonna bring the foot to the outside of our right hand and bringing the left leg down. Chest is forward. And my knee is coming in towards my shoulder for right now. We'll do it the other way. So try to squeeze those two together and start to drop the chest. Maybe you come onto your elbows, maybe you come onto a block. But this is really opening the hip and also opening the psoas right here. And rock side to side. It's intense. So keeping that knee glued if you can for another couple rounds of breath here. And then we'll open it up. So let it fall open and get you the knife edge of the foot. And again, you can kind of rock side to side. If it's available to you, you can come down. Or maybe you have a block and you can even come up a little bit with a block. If you have a block, you can put your hands there. So lots of different places. Go ahead and shift back in your hips a little bit. Step that foot forward. We're just gonna come in to a low lunge. And just let your hips sink forward. You wanna keep the pelvis centered though. So you might wanna draw back on your right hip and sink forward. It's kind of nice, yeah. Let's put our hands on our hips. Kind of have my hands on the sacrum. I'm kind of helping pushing forward. So I don't want too much of an arch in my low back. So I'm pressing bringing all of the hips forward, not just collapsing. Good, let's inhale up and exhale down. Step back, down dog. Let's bring the right leg up again, bend the knee, and open the hip. Now notice when you open the hip, it wants to open my chest too. It wants to open my chest towards the right.
I want to bring that right shoulder down. So it's really getting to my hamstring as well. Bringing the knee up as high as I can. Another thing you can do, kind of more an advanced posture you can do from here to keep this open, is come up onto your left fingertips. See how that really drops my shoulder? So this is getting really into my hip here. I can start to make circles. And it's also opening up the left leg. Good. Bring the knee through again. And we'll come in to Pigeon Pose.
So the knee is over to the right corner of the mat. Ideally, this foot comes up like this, but I'm not there. Really what we're looking for is that our hips are centered. So if you squeeze your thighs together, energetically pulling the right hip back, the left hip forward, it lifts you up a little bit. That's squaring the hips. Now see if you can work from there. Now sink, and maybe you come forward here. If you have a block, it's really nice. I love to put a block right here and just let my head rest on it. So, you know, we're trying to get into the hips here, but we're also holding our head up. So that's taking some of our muscular action. So if we can let the head go, then you have even more room to get into the hips. This one is good to stay as long as you'd like. We'll start to come up. I'm going to kind of roll into the right hip and bring this left leg around. We're going to come into double pigeon. I'm going to grab a pillow because I have a feeling I'll need it. We're going to stack the knee and the ankle on top of one another. So I'm going to grab this leg and place it here. This pillow, I'll probably need several of these pillows. You can use a block here, whatever you need. But flex both of the feet. This is an intense and juicy hip stretch. I'm just going to place my hands down on the ground, just to root, to ground, and breathe into your hips. Breathe into the sensation rather than letting your breath shallow. If you're in a position and you can't breathe, like it's that intense, you need to back up. You need to fully be able to breathe in even the fullest expression of the pose. So even as deep as you can go, you still need to be fully able to breathe, or else you shouldn't be there. So with the slow, long breaths, we're sending signals to our nervous system to tell our hips to relax. Let's go ahead and move out of it, just tilting back. Let's take our legs long and just take a forward fold. So keeping the knees bent a little bit so the back can be long. We'll fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. Lengthen and fold forward. Bring the legs in. We'll roll over the knees, plant the hands, and find our way back to downward dog. Breathing here. Feeling the difference in your right and your left leg. These are deep stretches, so if this is intense, it should be. These are deep. So be compassionate. All right, left leg up. And let's bring it to lizard pose. So outside of the left hand, dropping the left knee. So you can also do a variation of this where you bring the right knee up. There's lots of places to go. So you can rock, I like to rock side to side on my hands, just kind of gently getting deeper. And to start, let's keep the hip and the shoulder together. So every exhale, see if you can sink your chest a little bit lower. And start to open the hip, so letting it come open to the side and coming onto the knife edge of the foot. And again, you can rock side to side here. Some people will be able to come down to your elbows. Come back in. So start to heel toe your foot into the center. Let's bring the chest forward. And then inhale, pulling the left hip back. Come up. And sinking forward. And up. Plant the hands. Step back.
Lifting the left leg up. This time, let's bend the knee. Open the hip. I got a good pop. So your body will want to kind of open to the left. Drop the left hand down. You can do that by putting a lot of weight in the left hand. You can also come up onto the right fingertips, if that's available to you, and start to rotate this leg. And coming back to center. We'll come in to Pigeon Pose.
So I like to plant my back toes and kind of move my knee back. That helps me get back. Does that make sense? I'll move back, push my heel back, push my heel back. And then pulling back on the left hip as well, that helps me get centered. So if I pull the left hip back, right hip forward, that brings me up a little bit. And from there, I can come forward. So let's take about 5 full rounds of breath here. So the hips are related to the jaws. So notice when you're in a hip posture, if you tend to clench your teeth. Interesting. So maybe bring your teeth apart and wiggle them around just to make sure. And start to come down onto the left hip, and we'll bring that right leg all the way around. So again, double pigeon. It'll be different on both sides. We'll bring the left knee under the right foot, right knee over the left foot. So the body will want to kind of start to tilt this way, or the pelvis will tilt back a little bit like this. We want to sit up, so you can sit on a pillow is nice, or just kind of move the fleshy part back. It helps to tilt your pelvis forward, keep that low back straight. And just sit tall. You can bring the hands down here as well. Again, see if you're tightening the jaw. Maybe wiggle your lower teeth. Lower jaw. I guess you can't wiggle your teeth. We hold a lot of emotions in our hips. Everything that's ever happened in our life, somehow we hold it like in this cellular memory. And hips tend to be a big place where we hold this tension and this release. A lot of times people have emotional releases whenever they're doing really deep hip work, so you're not strange if you have some sadness or some anger come up. Normally mine's anger when I'm getting into these hip poses. But we can store a lot of memory. We'll start to come out of that as well. And this time, let's just roll up into a forward fold. Whew, feels nice. Hang the torso low, grab opposite arms. We'll just hang for a moment. It feels really good. Bend one knee and then the other. Plant the hands, and let's step back with the right foot. So we're gonna come into pyramid pose. So I'm stepping back with the right foot here. My back foot is turned in a little bit, turned out a little bit, 45-degree angle. And you can have a bend in your front knee. You can also be on blocks. This is a great pose for blocks. Take your thumb to your left hip and push it back. You can also grab on, feel on top of your sacrum. We should be able to like lay a plate on here. That's what we're going for. So you might need a bend in the front leg. So I'm pushing like a gas pedal into my front foot. That's helping shoot my left hip back. And I'm also pressing really hard into the back edge of my right foot. This is intense. It gets into the IT band as well. But it gets even more intense when you flex your front foot. So go ahead and flex here. So you're putting all that weight into your heel. Hello. And again, this should be a good hurt. If it's a pain hurt, back out. And you should also, again, be able to fully breathe. We're going to start to tilt the toes to the left, walk the hands to the left. And it gets even more intense. It might not look like much, but if you're doing it, you know. Okay, and now we're going to keep walking the hands to the left and start to bend the knees. We're going to come into Gomukhasana, so both knees will be on top of the other knee. If you have that pillow that maybe you used earlier, you could come and sit on that or sit on a block. Maybe your knees are like this. Maybe this isn't going to happen, and maybe one leg is straight, and you're like this. All good. Find your version for today. Tomorrow it might be different. Today I'm going to use a pillow. So pressing into the feet, give you some weight. There's a pressure point underneath the malleolus, which is this ankle bone, the bony protrusion. So you can press in with your thumb here, or press down. Try to make your feet feel good so your hips don't hurt so bad. Give yourself a little foot massage. And we may as well multitask while we're here. So let's take the right hand down to the ground and reach over to the right. And maybe you come down onto the elbow. And come to the other side. And come back up to center. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, twist to the right. Plant your hands and come back into a down dog. Inhale, gaze towards your hands, and either step one foot to the right and one foot to the left. Or you can also try to jump if you'd like. Bend the knees and jump. And we'll just sit low. One inhale. Plant the hands, forward fold. And let's step back with the left foot. And actually, I'm gonna turn sides here, but you can go ahead and stay where you are. Step back with the left foot. So again, we can take the right hand to the hip crease, pull back, see how that changes here. I can keep a bend in the front leg. I'm pushing like a gas pedal into the front foot to keep this hip in place, and I'm pressing out strong through this back foot to the outer edge. And then inhale, lifting and folding. Go ahead and flex in the front foot, and let's move up the intensity ladder. Putting all the weight into that heel there. You should feel it going all the way up. And then start to turn to the left. Take a couple rounds of breath here. Woo! And then we're going to continue on over, bending the knees, one knee on top of the other, or you can straighten the bottom leg out. So finding that position again, maybe giving a little foot massage. And let's take the right hand down. Kind of push the ground away so it helps to ground the right hip. And lean up and over. Coming up on an inhale and going to the other side. So kind of pushing into the ground to this time keep the left hip down. Coming up to center. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, plant the hands and unwind into downward dog. Walk up, sit back, and we'll come onto our back. Bring the knees into the chest. Rock side to side. Grab the hands on the knees, and we're just going to take some gentle circles here. So just bringing some synovial fluid back into the joints. So whichever way you're going, go the opposite direction. And bring the knees into the chest. Let's bring the feet wide on the mat. Let the knees knock in together and just shimmy side to side. This feels really nice. So just windshield wiper. Coming to center. Bringing the palms up towards the sky, rolling the shoulder blades on the back. You can extend your legs long if you want to, or you can stay right here. We'll just stay here for a moment. Rooting down. Coming back in sync with our breath, back aware of our breath. It's always in sync It's always happening without us, but we are not, thankfully, not always having to be aware of it. So maybe showing some gratitude for the breath, the life force, and gratitude for yourself for taking some time to show up today and doing some hard work. Hip work is not easy. They're armored up for a reason, so they think. We slowly peel back the layers with yoga. We can peel back that armor, the armor that we create physically and mentally and emotionally. It's a beautiful journey. I'm happy that you're on that path. So you can stay right here. You can find your way to a seated position. We'll just close out the practice. Let's bring hands to heart center. Take a big inhale and open mouth exhale. Let's bring the hands up above the head. Inhale. And one more time to heart center. The light and love within me bows and sees the light and love within you. Namaste. From all of us here at YOGATX, thank you so much for watching and helping us create this community. Until next time, cold chants. Thanks. Your knees here and sit your hips back. We'll walk our arms out. And your hips may not come all the way down. You may be more like this, and that's fine too. So whatever feels good to you. But walk your fingertips out so we're opening up underneath this, underneath your armpit.